Pakistan, ja, ja, Pakistan, dil, Pakistan, ja, ja, Pakistan.
Assalamu alaikum, and it's your host Imiaska again, and we've got the PSL show. So today, after a break, yesterday we had two games. The first one being Lahore, who were unbeaten, versus Multan, who had not won a game yet. You know what that normally means. Let's see what it meant today. And the second one, again, it was Peshawar Zalmi, who had a start of 1 win, 1 loss, with Quetta, who had 2 defeats on the bounce. So, without further ado, we'll discuss today's games. So the first one, Multan won the toss, and what has been the norm so far, coming up to the 6th game, they decided to field first. They wanted to chase, because every team that's chased so far has won the game. But it was a day game, so it might have been different, less due, etc. So we're going to see how it went. But how it went was, it started with Sohail getting out very early. And that's been quite normal this whole tournament. He hasn't so far got going. He's been quite slow. And I still have that question: how is he the captain of their team? I don't think he should be a player in the team. The T10 figures don't add up for me either. I don't think that sort of system means a lot. But then he lost his wicket quite early, and then Fakhr Zaman was the other one, too early in the piece, and they had 2 wickets down for not much. So that brought Joe Denley and Mohammad Hafiz into the crease, and it was slow going, especially Joe Denley. It was snail pace at first. He couldn't seem to get going, and they were struggling at near enough 5 and over after 5 overs, which doesn't give you a great start. But 20 overs does not seem a lot, but it is a lot. It's one of them where you have 120 balls, and within 120 balls a lot can happen, so you can recover quite easily, and more in T20 than if it was, because all it takes is 5 or 6 great overs and it propels you to another level, whereas in a test match 5 or 6 overs is not going to define a game. And same with an ODI, it's less chance, a shorter burst is going to define a game. It does happen, but the chances are much lower. But yeah, Denley got 31 of 29, so he was slow. He couldn't really get going. That brought Samir Patel out. Meanwhile, Mohammad Hafiz was just being Mohammad Hafiz of the last, year or so. Just batting with freedom. Seems like, he's got his mojo going. If this was back in the 90s, you'd think that he's got a spring in his bat, and the moment he's hitting it with right-handed, it's going for a 6. But yeah, fantastic hitting, absolutely fantastic hitting. But he got 60 from 35. He was run out. Not just before Ben Dunk got out though. Ben Dunk came in, got out straight away. That brought Samir Patel to the strike, and Samir Patel and Hafiz had a mix-up, and they lost Hafiz. I think that was a killer blow because he was absolutely striking it well. 60 from 35, which is like a strike rate of 171. And after that, Samir Patel got 26 of 20, stayed not out. Visa 13 of 8. But it only got him to 157 for 6. It wasn't, a lot in the circumstances of the game. Just for the bowling, Sohail Khan played today for Multan, and he got none for 24 in his 4 overs. So even though you can get a wicket, but he was very economical. Finished his overs quite early as well. Dahani 2 for 39. Unfortunately, his figures don't tell the story. Had one poor over towards the end, Carlos Brathwaite was very good, 2 for 20. Shahid Afridi, a bit surprising so far. Been struggling a little bit with the last 2 games with the ball. This is not very often that he has 2 average games. 0 for 41. Usman Qadir 1 for 31. So that was that. And come the chase, and you'd expect, Mohammad Rizwan, 158, to be right in his alley, because it suits him down to the whack. And so it did. I mean, he absolutely got going straight away. Even though Chris Lynn lost his wicket quite early to Shaheen Afridi. And I think Shaheen Afridi now has 10 wickets, if I'm not mistaken, in the last year in T20 cricket with the new ball. So that's incredible stat. But yeah, 0 for 2. Vince got out early, got 5 or 6 balls. So all of a sudden, Shaheen Afridi has struck, and so did was it Sami Patel? Yeah, Sami Patel got Vince. So that actually had him, struggling, but Rizwan just kept motoring along. Another thing about Riz, he's put this thing about himself. He's playing the shots over the keeper now, so he's got the ramp going. He's hitting them straight. He's cutting the ball. He's pulling the ball. I mean, what does good form do for you? A bit of confidence, good form, getting your mojo right, and batting in the right position. It's absolutely done him wonders. Absolutely fantastic. 76 of 49. Tremendous hitting. 155 strike rate. He virtually finished the game for them. Sohail Maqsood, 61 of 41. Very good clean hitting from him. He seems like someone who has now improved his game to another level. He's improved his hand-eye coordination and his mental game, which I said the other day. The biggest problem that Sohail Maqsood had was he wasn't mentally strong enough to succeed. So that was that. A comfortable win. I mean, they've done it in 16 overs in the end. I mean, they could have chased 200 quite comfortably in the end. So that was that. A comfortable win. Riz, another brilliant performance from him. Rizwan is now the tournament's top scorer with about 280 odd runs. And then we had the second game. And this time, Peshawar had decided to bowl first. So we've got this situation where every team that is, as I said earlier, is choosing to elect to bowl first, and they're actually winning games. It happened today in the first game. Was it going to change the second? Well, we had to wait and see. Quetta put up a great fight with the bat, and they got going. Same with Ayub. Got a couple of boundaries in the first over. Looked like he's going to places. But in the end, he started struggling a little bit. I don't think he's ready for T20 cricket at this level at the moment. I think he'll be better suited to cricket at a in the 2 longer formats, and that's not taking anything away from that. That shows that he's very classy at what he does. But yeah, Cameron Doppelt lost his wicket quite early, 2 for 5. 2 from 5. Faf, brilliant. He came out. He looked like he's been here for ages. Timing the ball well, piercing the gaps, took it to the bowlers, and it was looking good. He got 37 from 26, and he looked very good. And then that ball out once he fell. That ball out Sarfraz and Azam Khan. So once them two, Saim and Faf got out, we had them 2 at the crease, and again, very good players, and they got going. They really did. I feel that's the best I've seen Sarfraz bat for a very, very long time. Even though he had a decent inning the other day against Lahore, I think he was even better today. Fantastic hitting, long range, hitting sixes as well, getting the boundaries, rotating the strike, very good. Azam showing his power, looked like he meant business. Seemed to he can seem to clear the ropes at will. Azam can. So that was that. And they looked very good. I mean, Safraz 81 of 40, Azam Khan 47 of 26. Brilliant. Striking at over, one's at 200, the other one's at 180, and that's sort of level. It takes you to a very high score. Unfortunately, in the last over, they couldn't get much, but they got 198, I think it was. So yeah, 198 for 7, and that is a very, very good total. Now, if anyone's going to win the game defending that, you're going to defend something like that. Just on the bowling, Majib, very expensive, 11 runs and over, opened the bowling for them. So bowled in the power play, as I mentioned the other day. He's a specialist, but it didn't work for him. Irfan, very poor, went out nearly 10 runs and over. Imran was very good. Unfortunately, he went for 25 in total, 24 overs, but I think 13 of them went in the last over. He's very good. He got 1 wicket as well. Sakim Mahmood, what can you say about the guy? People keep saying that he's not very good, but he keeps getting wickets. 3 for 34. Wahab has got a couple of wickets, but let's talk about Wahab. 2 for 54, the most expensive figures he's had in T20 cricket. And it just kept seeming like he'd lost the plot. He kept just bowling here, there, and everywhere. I mean, his line, his length, everything went. He lost his head. As a captain, I don't think he'd led his troops quite well. And that was that. I mean, 198, it's going to be very hard to chase. Even more harder to chase with Kamran Akmal got out very early in the piece. So, yeah, Usman Shinwari gets him out. They change the fielders around, get a man out, third man. Next ball, he's gone 3 from 8. Struggling along. And then Cadmore's lost his wicket. And Cadmore's lost his wicket quite early. So that was that. So they were struggling. But Imam kept going, 41 from 30. I mean, it wasn't the quickest chasing 200, but after you lose 2 early wickets, sometimes you need is someone to bat and someone just to hold up one end and allow the batsman on the other end. And that's what he did. And that allowed Haider Ali to blossom, batting at 4. Brilliant. The other day he finished the game well, but today I think this was the real Haider Ali we were talking about. Some of his stroke play were, out of this world. Absolutely magnificent stroke play. Took it to the bowlers, really went after him. Got 50 of 29. In the end, he got out to a poor shot. One staying come back. But he had done a lot of damage by then. With him at the time was, because Imam had got out, was Shoaib Malik. Shoaib Malik was batting quite well. But within himself, because he knew Haider was batting really well. And all he had to do was just stay with him to see the game out. Well, then the onus fell on him to get going, and he got out soon after. So 34 from 20 from him, and at that point I thought the game was virtually over. I thought Quetta had this in the bag, but no. Shane Rutherford, he had different ideas. 36 from 18, took it to the bowling. They needed 12 runs and over, but he just kept going. Kept getting the blusty blows in. Just when you thought the game was going out of reach, he'll come back and he would fight back into the game. So it was very, very interesting from Rutherford. And with him was Wahab Riaz. He got a couple of boundaries at the end. Usman Shinwari was poor. Stain went. Just before I get to the bowling, in that sense, Safraz's captaincy for me was not very good. I think he lost his troops somewhere in that game. The other bowling wasn't great. What you have to do, in my opinion, is that you have to back them. You have to just encourage them, speak to them, but you don't berate them. And I think there was too much berating. There was too much in their work, in their faces. I think it was in the third last over, and Hasnain's now bowled 3 excellent deliveries. He's gone for 2 runs. He's missed his length on a Yorker in the slot. Rutherford's taken him for a 6. Let it happen. It's happened. You can't change that. What Sarfraz has gone out and done is he's gone into Hasnain's face, spoken to him, shouted at him. The intensity's got to him, and that's going to get to the young bowler. The next ball, a poor ball, another 6, and the game's gone. I don't care what happens in the staying over after that. The game is gone at that point, because it's going to be very hard to bring it back from that point, because you've exerted that much pressure on your team. Anything less than 15 in the last over, you're not defending. I mean, in the end, they were only chasing 6. So that staying over became not as meaningful as some people might think it is. So that was that. Again, Ben Cutting 1 for 23. Zaid Mahmood 1 for 32. Nawaz never bowled out again, which is surprising. Only a couple of overs. Hasnain, in the end, very expensive, but I thought he bowled well. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, because that's 3 defeats in a row for Quetta. Do they need a captaincy change? I don't know. If I was the management, would I consider it? Yes. If I was Sarfraz, would I say that I don't need this anymore? Yes. I think he needs to just concentrate on his keeping and his batting. Let someone else take off. If that's Faf, if that's whoever that is in that team. There's not a lot of leaders there. Just let someone take it over and just concentrate on your own game, because at the moment it's not working for him. So that's that. Tomorrow we've got 2 more games. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back tomorrow for more. My team's playing tomorrow, Islamabad, so come on, Islamabad. And in the meanwhile, Allah Hafiz and Pakistan Zindabad.
दिल दिल से मिलते हैं तो प्यार का चेहरा बनता